Welcome back to the Knock-On Effect, the rugby show where we say what the pundits won't. So Ireland just did a number on the Wallabies. In today's video, we're going to take a look back at the action and answer the question, can Ireland defeat the Springboks? So without further ado, let's get stuck in. Right, so straight in, no kissing today lads, there's no hanging around. Heading into this match, I think what most of us Irish fans were hoping for was to see a clearer game plan, a bit more cohesion, and most importantly, some Líomhaireachtaí. I'm glad to say that I think we got that. We came out of the gate strong. Gibson-Park had a quick tap and go, and after a few phases, Mack Hansen jotted down under the posts with hardly 5 minutes on the clock. That was doubled down when Robbie Henshaw took a hard line up to the Wallabies defence, some slick hands out the back to Prendergast, who put it on a plate for Hansen's second try of the night. The Wallabies fought back though through Lenny Caelan, who barrelled his way over Sam Prendergast and the Irish try line. I don't want to be too harsh as Sam had a very good game, but that type of defending is just inexcusable. The Irish scrum came out on top, and it has to be said, our set piece looked much better here, giving Ireland the platform to attack. An unorthodox crossfield from Prendergast to Tommy O'Brien allowed Mack Hansen to claim his hat-trick just before the 30-minute mark. What a dream return for Hansen. Both Paddy McCarthy and Tadhg Furlong were caught sleeping at ruck time, however, as the Wallabies' pick-and-go game gave them some hope before half-time. The points didn't come as easy for Ireland in the second half, but Prendergast kept the scoreboard ticking over with a peach of a drop goal. Crowley soon came on and he added points with a well-taken penalty, proving the two boys can both contribute without it being a battle. Crowley soon added salt to the wounds with a monstrous up and under reclaimed excellently by none other than Mack Hansen. A few quick phases later and captain Caelan Doris crossed the try line to put his stamp on the game. The Wallabies pick and go game gave them a consolation try at the 74th minute mark, and they probably expected Ireland to see out the game, but no. The Irish line-out worked flawlessly to give Bundee Aki a straight run at the Wallabies' defence, and he didn't need asking twice. Casey's decision to reverse the play towards Ryan Baird meant further insult to injury, but it wasn't over yet. The Irish maintained possession from kick-off, and when play broke down, Gibson-Park, who was playing on the wing in that moment, came up clutch with a crossfield to Henshaw. The clock in red, and that really put a cherry on top. Look, this was a fantastic display from Ireland. The line out was much improved. This was a much better performance from the boys in green all round. Fingers crossed this is the building block of us working towards that new identity that we spoke about. I thought that both the kicks were much better measured as well as the kick chasing. That's arguably more important. For years you'd hear old fellas in the stands moan and groan, why are we kicking the ball? Because you can quickly gain 30 metres and have the defence in the back foot. It worked phenomenally well here against Australia. That being said, this new style that we seem to be approaching, it's still a little bit more of a lottery than I'd like. I'd much rather the precision, accuracy, territory-based kicking that we would have seen from the likes of Raj, but that's a conversation for another day. Mack Hansen put everybody to shame. To be out for the first two games and to step in a fullback and come up with that kind of performance, he deserves major credit. Hugo Keenan has had the starting jersey locked down in recent years, and rightly so. But due to injury, and it's got to be said, a few subpar performances, could Mack Hansen be Ireland's new 15? I suppose the way that I look at it is that Keenan is much more solid in defence. But in all seriousness, I haven't seen him hit a line at pace like Mack Hansen did in years. Gibson-Park was world class. He's had a bit of a stuttered start to the season, returning from the Lions, a mediocre display against Munster and not being able to dictate the game as much as he would have liked against New Zealand. But fuck me, did he shine against the Wallabies. He showed the bravery and urgency required in the opening stages to really take the fight to Australia. He was the heartbeat of our attacking line and he drove us around the park. Prendergast had the back line humming, it has to be said. He looked much more settled in this game, way more sure of himself and much more willing to be expressive in his pass and kick selection. Look, the tackling side of his game, I don't want to keep beating the same drum, as we all know it's his major weakness. Likewise, I don't want to just skim over it, because for me, it's weak enough that I'd have serious doubts about starting him in a top level test match, such as Saturday. Which brings us to the question, can Ireland defeat the Springboks? On paper, everything leads towards a Springboks victory. Let's take a look at South Africa's Nations Series so far. They've looked impressive, haven't they? That win against France will long live on in my memory. What a fantastic display of courage and perseverance. The Springboks are the reigning world champions, and they deserve every bit of that status. They have a phenomenal amount of depth, experience and willpower. The one thing they don't have is a good record over Andy Farrell's Ireland. In the last 5 outings, Ireland have walked away with 4 wins. Ireland have been the Springboks' bogey team. Ireland have certainly been inconsistent in the last 12 months or so, but the main thing that I just saw against Australia was there's still a lot of fight left in us. Can Ireland defeat South Africa? You best fucking believe we can. Now here's the team that I'd like to see on Saturday. I think the pack really picks itself. We know who our best front 5 are, and I don't expect things to change unless an injury crops up. I've been enjoying Doris at 7. I don't see the point in rushing Van der Flier straight back, plus I think we could use Caelan's size. Gibson-Park at 9, Crowley at 10. I think his physicality is needed here against the Boks. Similarly, I'd like the size and defensive capabilities of Aki and Henshaw. We've had a lot of success when crashing up off the centre off first phase. I think it allows our out halves to pick the right options from the boot. O'Brien lower given on the wings, and Mack has to start at 15. Likewise, the bench picks itself, I think. McCarthy has had a fantastic first inclusion in the Ireland setup. Kelleher and Beelum aren't budging anywhere. I'd go with Van der Flier, and I'd like to see Cian Prendergast for his experience. But likewise, I think Nick Timoney has had a brilliant Autumn Nations Series, so you can take your pick of those two. Casey, Prendergast and Ringrose then are all quality subs to finish out the game and cover any holes that might pop up. But look, that's just how we see it. Leave a comment down below and let us know who you'd start. We'll be back over the weekend to cover all Autumn Nations Series, so be sure and hit subscribe so you don't miss a beat. As always, cheers for watching, catch you at the next one.